the time to secure ancient defense for you and your family. Visit InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139. That's InfoWarsLife.com. When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. No one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. Just one of the key compounds, BioPQQ, is backed by major clinical studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? We now have the synergistic solution. Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with Super Male or Super Female Vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com. No survival chest is complete without Silver Bullet. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. Silver Bullet.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem. From time to time, we've been tempted to believe that society has become too complex to be managed by self-rule, that government by an elite group is superior to government for, by, and of the people.
The Alex Jones Show, because there is a war on for your mind.
Hello, me. Meet the real me and my misfits way of life.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host today. Now I'm going to go to this senator in Oregon who is trying to outlaw informed consent, calling it removing the personal belief exemption. I'm going to go to that hypocrisy in just one moment. I want you to hear what she says in the committee here. But before I do, I want to let you know that Super Male Vitality is now 100% sold out, but we still have Super Female Vitality for 20% off. We're going to be honoring that special that was throughout the month of February. That's why Super Male is sold out. We're going to be honoring that for Super Female Vitality as long as we have a supply of that. Also on special, we have limited stock left for our buy two Survival Shield X2 and get one Ancient Defense free. That's still going on. You get two already discounted bottles of Survival Shield X2 and a free bottle of Ancient Defense. You can find that at InfoWarsStore.com. Of course, that helps to support our operation. Also support the advertisers that advertise on your radio station where you're listening to the show. That's a very important thing to remember to do. We're grateful for our sponsors and for our affiliates. Now, going back to this law that is being proposed in Oregon, we have a hearing here where you have a lawyer ask a very pointed question to the senator who has written the law to remove our informed consent. And understand, before we go to this clip, that what he's about to do is to point out that she went against the advice of her physician. She went against the advice of the pharmaceutical company making the drug. She did research, and she convinced herself that she was going to do something that was different from what her doctor, from what the pharmaceutical company was telling her. She made her own choice for herself and for her family. She was breastfeeding her child. She was told not to use a particular medication by her doctor, by the pharmaceutical company, because they felt that it would be harmful for her child. She did research on it. She found that she thought that it would not be harmful, that they were being overly conservative. Whether or not you agree with what she was doing, that is not the issue. But when he brings that up, she immediately jumps down his throat, thinking that he's going to vilify her for her personal choice, as we have been vilified when we do our due diligence and look at what we're being told to put into ourselves and into our children. Listen to this exchange. This is between Robert Snee, attorney, and Senator Elizabeth Steiner Hayward, who is trying to remove informed consent.
Interestingly enough, in an article that was published in the American Academy of Family Physicians, the sponsor of this bill is quoted as disregarding her treating doctor's advice because, in the paraphrase, I did the research and disagreed with her recommendation. She chose to breastfeed her child despite the medication that she was taking for her condition and despite the risk to her child from that medication. There was a greater certainty of...
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. I have to interrupt.
Yes, please.
My integrity has just been impugned by the witness. And I want to be really clear here, sir.
He didn't impugn her integrity.
No, sir. Please allow me to respond.
Sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now listen to what she hangs herself. Listen to the way she hangs herself with this.
At that time was responding, in fact, to drug company paranoia because they'd never tested it in pregnant and breastfeeding women. I called the national expert on drugs and lactation from the University of Texas and asked him personally to clarify that interferons did not transfer from breast milk, from the mother's tissue, into breast milk before I made that decision for my child. And I also
she made that decision for her child.
That breastfeeding is the best thing you can do to protect children from autoimmune diseases. So I would be very grateful if you did not take my decision, my personal decision about my medical care, out of context. Thank you.
Oh. All right.
It's not out of context, and he explains it to her right now.
Mine was science-based.
Science. She has science. We only have personal beliefs.
I will have to ask people to leave if we don't have decorum. We do not impugn others.
Oh, yeah, right.
My statement was not intended in any manner of impugning or maligning the sponsor of this bill, only pointing out that her right to exercise her informed consent and make a different decision than her treating doctor is the same right that we as citizens are seeking for ourselves.
That's right. That's exactly the point. She wouldn't let him finish with the point. She interrupted and said, "You're attacking me personally," because they attack us personally. Anybody that doesn't go with what the pharmaceutical companies or the AMA is telling people, we have to be shut up. It's just our personal belief because she has science on her side, and we can't dispute that. This all goes back to what we just talked about with Joe Biggs about how Google is wanting to rank websites on perceived facts and not on links. Because what they do right now, Google's search engine currently uses a number of incoming links to a web page to determine the quality of that web page. So that's how they rank you on their searching. Now what they're going to do is they're going to look at truthiness. Truthiness, there we go. And we've already seen some research projects that the government is funding to go in and evaluate the truthiness. We've seen them push back against people who were on the opposite side of Obama. They had the truth squads, remember that? Well, now what they're going to do is they've got a Google research team that's going to have a model that's going to measure the trustworthiness of a page. Now, how do they determine the trustworthiness of a page? Well, they look at evaluating facts that are unanimously agreed upon, facts that the web unanimously agrees upon. Of course, that's going to go into something they call their knowledge vault. So they're going to go and they're going to cross-check what you're talking about versus the quote-unquote knowledge vault. And, of course, that's going to shut down any dissent, any political dissent, any scientific dissent. We're not going to have anybody who pushes back against global warming because, of course, that would make us deniers, infidels. We've already been told just this last week, we saw one of the chief persons at the UN IPCC resigning and saying global warming was his religion. I know it's his religion. It is a religion to these people. It isn't about the science. The science is not settled. Good science is never settled. It is always questioned, repeatedly questioned. That's how the Wright brothers got off the ground as homeschooling kids who had a bicycle shop when Langley, who was teaching at West Point and Harvard and was the curator and was the head of the Smithsonian, he couldn't get off the ground with his planes because he was relying as gospel settled truth the tables that had been set up for lift coefficients. He wouldn't go back and question that. But the Wright brothers did question those tables. And the tables were wrong. That allowed them to get a plane that would take off the ground. And of course, if we're going back to medical history, let's look at what Louis Pasteur did. He would have been shut down by the truthiness of the Google search engine, because I'm sure that the medical establishment, along with a 19th century version of Snopes, would have said that, no, there's no such thing as germs. There's simply an imagination of Louis Pasteur's wild, conspiracy-oriented mind. We have to be very, very careful about this. This is a way to shut down the web. This is a way to dumb us down and to censor what we're saying. And people need to understand that things in the United States can happen, very bad things can happen. Just as Joe Biggs was talking about, people could not get it through their heads that we could have black sites in America where people are being held without being charged, where they're being tortured. It can happen. It is happening. They've got people who have said that it is happening. It's only in places like Russia, of course, that people get assassinated. We just had the case this weekend where the chief opponent to Putin was shot down. He was walking near Red Square, near the Kremlin, with a female companion, kind of like as if Mitt Romney, just before the election, got gunned down at the Capitol steps or on the White House lawn. And so immediately, everybody is fingering Putin. Is that the case? Well, we have a report up. Many people are saying, well, it's got to be Putin. And of course, I believe that Putin probably has killed many people. He's been involved with the KGB. We've had dissidents abroad in the UK who've been poisoned. But the timing of this is very suspicious. The timing is very suspicious. It was done the day before there was going to be a major rally against Vladimir Putin. And Paul Craig Roberts points out, as if on cue, the murder yesterday of Boris Nemtsov, a Washington-funded Russian, quote, opposition politician, unquote, with a tiny following, has become a major news item for the American prostitute media. They've responded as if orchestrated by a conductor, with insinuations of Putin's responsibility and the death of democracy in Russia. And of course, he points out that this guy had very close ties with the West, the people that we have seen pouring billions of dollars into Ukraine to foment a civil war there. He got State Department funding through the National Endowment for Democracy, the NED, and of course, the timing of when this happened. Ahead of the march today, on Sunday, of Vesna, the Russian Spring anti-government opposition march. Now, I just want to point out, we also had somebody else killed that you don't hear too much about. We had possibly killed. Let's just say that. A Missouri candidate for governor dies of apparent suicide minutes after inviting reporters to St. Louis home for his interview. Of course, we've seen the same type of thing happen. I'm not saying that this was a murder, but we've seen Gary Webb suicided. We've seen the D.C. madam suicided. We've seen Aaron Schwartz suicided. Michael Hastings. Can happen in America.
The Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds. Is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. No one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. Just one of the key compounds, BioPQQ, is backed by major clinical studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? We now have the synergistic solution. Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
Using unparalleled research in the development of a synergistic formulation based around the key concepts of super oxygenation, the next level in cleansing is here. With key ingredients backed by real clinical studies, the new Oxy Powder, available through InfoWars Life, was invented during Dr. Group's research on the toxification of our bodies. Many herbal colon cleansers are harsh on the body and contain cheap and potentially dangerous ingredients, oftentimes full of synthetic fillers, GMOs, additives, or worse. First, gently start cleaning your body with easy capsules that start working while you sleep. Oxy Powder does not require time off work, and there's no need for bad-tasting concoctions. Instead, Oxy Powder slowly releases monoatomic oxygen into the intestinal tract and body. Experience the astonishing cleansing power of superoxide and ozonide technology. Go to InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com to get started with Oxy Powder, or call 1-888-253-3139.